But I caught like 6 Conference League games this past week.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. I went in, dude, and it's pure chaos.
All right, so let's start with
It's like the Copa Libertadores of Europe.
Oh, okay. There's been so many penalty shootouts. There's been so many dramatic moments so far that I want to talk about the draw that happened with the Europa Conference League. Yeah. Fiorentina being matched up against Lech Poznan?
Lech Poznan, the Polish team. Yeah.
You've seen Fiorentina.
I've seen Fiorentina and Poznan play.
Okay.
Yeah. Poznan have surprised me that they've made it this far. I'm going to be completely honest. They're a really solid team, very organized, very little flair, I'll say.
Okay.
They just kind of get the job done if they can. They had Djurgårdens as their opponent in this most recent round, and they did pretty well. They got the job done at home, and then they went on the road, and there's a red card, and it allowed them to kind of just calm things down, get a couple goals, and see the result out. So they've stuck to it, and I'll give them that.
I'm seeing a 5-0 victory.
Yeah.
God damn.
The first leg that they played in Poland was everything, bro. But Djurgårdens, that's the thing, is that they had a good game at home, but Poznan just stayed sturdy.
Good.
They're a really sturdy team. I don't.
Sounds Polish.
Right.
Sounds
There's
like the
talent.
That's the Poland I know, man. God damn.
Yeah. They're
so
good.
Stout.
But they
got offense to them. 5 goals?
I think it's going to be more so that Djurgårdens has a little leaky defense because in the past round, they barely got through, I think, by 1 goal.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I really do think that was more on Djurgårdens rather than Poznan. But again, Poznan are very organized and they will be tough to beat. I just don't think they're a title-winning team.
Okay. And Fiorentina?
Fiorentina, I don't think they've had a hard draw yet, bro. They're dominating this league, bro. Absolutely dominating. They had Sporting Braga in their first knockout round, which I thought was going to be a really great
good
tie.
matchup.
Yeah, because Braga third place. They were beating Benfica like in January, and they had a decent group stage, I think in the Europa League, actually, that got them into the Conference League because they finished in third place in a tough group. But they got fucking killed by Fiorentina, man. Murdered. And Fiorentina barely broke a sweat, bro. They went into Portugal and they got out with a 5-0 dub. It was that simple for the Italians. And they then played against Sivasspor in the next round, a Turkish team. And that one was really interesting because I saw that game in Turkey. Bro, talk about a hostile environment, man. I would never want to go to a Sivasspor game as an away supporter.
Really?
It was that intense, bro. A lot of supporters are like dressed in all black. And it makes a really interesting like color format in the stands. It's just very intimidating. Yeah. Like incredibly intimidating. It's also very loud. It's very loud. Man. The stands are right on it. And also the pitch is it's an ugly pitch. It's ugly, bro. So like nothing looks aesthetic,
Okay, yeah.
Nothing looks like kind or pleasing to the eyes. So it's just a very, very intimidating atmosphere. But Fiorentina went there. They went to that atmosphere and they got out with a 3-1 win. 4-1 then. And absolutely good. The goal that was scored by the Turkish player Erdogan, banger, absolute banger. It's like a 23-yard screamer. But other than that, Fiorentina, they had no problem, bro.
Damn,
they had no problem. So I think this one's Fiorentina's all day.
Okay.
All day.
All right. There's a genuine chance that Italy could win all 3 European tournaments. That'd be crazy, bro.
That would be crazy.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be insane, bro.
I've never seen anything like that. We're like, we never had Conference League, but
just domination in both
like that.
tiers.
And I just would be so surprised with the way that league is going.
I know, man, because no one can compete with Napoli.
That would make the country Serie A. That would make them genuine European giants if they win all 3 European tournaments. The other matchups that we have is Basel against Nice. Anything there? We got Nice, the French squad, who I've never been convinced with this whole season, somehow finding their way in the quarterfinals of this tournament against Basel, who is from Switzerland. I believe that's Mo Salah's old club.
It is. It is. Basel, they had a crazy round of 16, bro. Down 2-0 in the second leg, and they ended up getting 2 late-ish goals to equalize the tie. And I believe it went into penalties to seal the deal, and they got it done. But it was wild because I remember I watched like the first 60 minutes. I was like, I remember thinking, I was like, damn, Slovan Bratislava showed up They are playing really good. They do not look like they're going to be beaten by this Basel side. So I flipped over to a different game, and then I look back. It's 2-1. I'm like, okay, interesting. And then boom, 2-2. I'm like, all right, let's go back to it. Let's go back to it. They flipped it. They completely flipped it. I saw the highlights later. I was like, wow, they just got some sort of motivation out of nowhere, found it in themselves to get that goal. And when I saw it, when they got the first goal, they're like, finally, they're like, come on, we're better than this. And then that led them to get that second goal. And I guess they got a little lucky on penalties, but they go through. They're playing Nice. And kind of like you, I'm still not fully convinced. Obviously, they have some big name players, but I would say maybe that's about it. They are a good team, but they played Sheriff Tiraspol in the last round. And Tiraspol just, they don't have anything going for them offensively. So Nice realistically just had to figure out how to score. And that's all they had to think about. And they were able to pull it off.
Yeah, that Basel game, actually, I saw the penalty shootout live for that one. Okay. I remember looking back at how the whole game had gone. I was like, holy shit, Basel has a chance to steal the game here, especially away from home. And I just remember watching that penalty shootout and just feeling the whole crowd just become deflated, man. Took the air out of the stadium, seeing Basel just win the shootout. The way they're reacting was like if they were seeing their fathers get beaten up. Yeah. It was so demoralizing the way this squad was going about losing, and Basel ended up winning the fucking match. And on the other side, Sheriff, man, I feel like ever since that, contextually, that incredible Champions League run they had where they actually beat Real Madrid, who then went on to win the Champions League that year, I feel like ever since that moment when they were at the Santiago Bernabeu and they won 2-1 and they stole a victory there, and it was the greatest victory in their club's history, ever since that moment, they've just been slowly declining. Yeah. And you see it happen to so many European teams that aren't part of like the top 50 squads in the world. They can have these really magical runs, but then in the following years, maybe they don't make Champions League. Maybe they go to Europa League, or they go to Conference League, or they don't even make it at all. And I feel like with Sheriff, that's exactly what they're going through right now. Exactly. Every time I've been seeing them like just on the score sheet or just seeing them lined up against a squad to play, I'm like,
they're not
what could have been, man. Because there's a time where I was really excited about the Sheriff squad. But ultimately, that was the highlight, was beating Real Madrid, and now they're losing against Nice in the round of 16 in the Conference League. Yeah. And that'll probably be it, man. I don't think they'll be back.
I don't think they'll be back. The game looked pretty grim from a Tiraspol side. They could not create much, bro.
So who do you have winning between Basel and Nice?
Oh, man. Yeah. What's interesting about that is Basel played a good game against Bratislava. That game was so even. I think the first leg also ended 2-2. So either team could have gone through. Basel are a good side. Nice just have a little bit more ability to do something crazy just because of the skill set that they naturally possess. But, Basel can stick to it. They can stick to a task. I guess I'm just going to go Nice just because they play in League One. Okay. I'm just going to go pure. I'm going to go
coefficient.
I'm going to go pure coefficient on this one. But honestly, I would not be surprised if Basel keep it tight and get a tight win in the second leg.
I think given the fact that Basel almost got knocked out, man. Almost got knocked out in that quarterfinal. I'm going to go with Nice. At the very least, Nice has momentum winning 4-1 in their last draw. Like, there's a little bit more there.
But Slovan were good opponents, though. That's the thing. Basel had to really fucking work, whereas Nice realistically didn't.
Yeah. I mean, even then, though, what's funny is like Nice, I think, is better in the league right now than like Reims. Who we've been highlighting Reims like crazy. I think Nice is actually in a better spot.
Reims finally lost. Finally, bro.
Peace.
It's March.
Rest in peace, man.
They finally lost.
Rest in peace. The streak is done for Reims.
Is done, bro.
It was like, 15 fucking games or some bullshit? It was
like 16, 17.
They lost to Marseille. I think it was 3-2, no? Something
2-1, double from Sanchez.
Double from Sanchez. Beautiful. Yeah, it was time. It was time.
But what a crazy run.
What a run. Okay, on the other side of the Europa Conference League, we have probably the favorite to win it right now. Premier League side West Ham facing off against Belgian side Gent.
Gent had a crazy tie against Istanbul, Başakşehir. It was 0-0 for the first 30 minutes. Başakşehir had a really good 10 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, if they keep playing like this, they're going to get the win out of this. It's going to be clockwork. In Turkey, I was like, easy does it, easy pickings, let's go. After the 10th minute, though, Gent started to, get back into the game. And I was very intrigued by that. I was like, oh, so we have a game now. Thank God. It's going to be even at the very least. 30th minute, the first goal cracks in. 1-0 to Gent.
Epa.
They take over. 2 minutes later, it's 3-0.
Holy shit.
One of the fastest hat tricks, by the way,
Oh, shit.
I have ever seen. It was nuts. Gift is his first name. I forget his last name, but he's a Nigerian player playing for Gent. I think he started somewhere in Scandinavia with in Norway.
On top right now,
on
man.
Top right now,
OC man. Now we got my boy Gift.
Gift. Yeah. And it was just crazy. They Gent as a team as a whole completely flipped the tie because they just kept feeding him. You know, it wasn't like solo goals or like bangers out from outside the box. Wow. It was just pure teamwork, getting the ball to the right player in the right spot, and then from there, being clinical. Başakşehir got ripped apart, bro. They got ripped apart. It was actually kind of pathetic at the end of the day because I was like, dude, like, come on.
Dude, then the crowd shit must be all... Yeah. It's all talk,
Yeah,
man.
Two.
Bro, we're talking about 2 4-1 results for the away team in Turkey.
Yep.
So if maybe it's on the clubs, maybe it's on the teams. They just don't live up to the incredible atmospheres that Turkey provides.
Yeah, I will say
what the fuck is that about?
Yeah, it's bad.
4?
Yeah, 4, bro. 4. Over the whole 90, Başakşehir looked pretty poor. And the same thing can be said about Sivasspor. Like they have some feisty moments, but that is literally it. Turkish football not looking good. That's just how it is.
That's a takeaway.
That's a takeaway, bro.
Yeah. Hey, and Belgium looking solid.
No, they're able to maintain their integrity and then just be really clinical, bro. Be very, very clinical.
And on the flip side, we have West Ham, who defeated AEK Larnaca to go on to the quarterfinals to face off against Gent.
Yes. So this is the only tie that I didn't even bother watching, just because I saw the first result. I think it was 2-0. Yeah. And I was like, it's probably going to stay the same. So I just didn't even bother. West Ham gets the result. Not surprised.
6-0.
6-0 and ended? Mm-hmm. Jesus. Okay, well then, yeah, I'm definitely not surprised. Definite favorites. That's a good game to go off of, but I'd say their next opponent's going to be a little difficult.
That's the thing. I don't know if I see them actually going to be... I don't know if I see them becoming Europa League Conference champions because last year we had the same example with Leicester. Leicester went in deep, and they ultimately fell short, man. They fell short. I don't know. I don't know if I trust these English squads specifically in the Conference League.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust them because we got other squads here that see a genuine golden opportunity to win European silverware. And I think they want it just as bad as the West Ham, for example, brother.
Exactly. That's actually a really good point because when you look at West Ham and Leicester, for example, last year, we're talking about mid-table teams. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about upper mid, like top 7, top 6. We're talking about true mid-table teams. The definition of that is inconsistency. They can't consistently get results to push them into the upper echelon of their table in their domestic leagues. Whereas if they face an opponent that's flying really high in their own league, then maybe it levels the playing field a bit. Yeah. Maybe they don't have the same sort of squad talent, that momentum and that consistency that their opponent might possess might be enough to actually get the result for them. And maybe West Ham gets knocked out just like Leicester did last year. Yeah, that's a really good point.
But I still have them winning this matchup and going to the semifinal. Who do you have coming out between these two teams?
Damn it. This one's tough because I just have not seen West Ham play. So I'm purely going off of what I've seen Gent do over their 2 legs against Başakşehir here. Gent are solid, man. They're a really good team. All I can say is it's going to be tight. That's it. I guess if I had to pick one, then sure. I guess coefficient-wise, they play in the Prem. Let's go West Ham. All right. Again, Gent can make this very competitive. Okay. I know they can.
Okay. And the last quarterfinal matchup we have is Anderlecht from Belgium facing off against the Netherlands, AZ Alkmaar. 2 interesting squads here with Anderlecht having defeated La Liga side Villarreal 2-1 overall, and Lazio losing out to AZ Alkmaar as well. Both of them defeating solid squads in the process to get here. Who do you see winning?
I saw that Anderlecht are having one of their worst domestic leagues they've had in a couple decades. I think they're 8th or 10th in their league, bro. In the Belgian league. They had a decent game against Villarreal, but I also think Villarreal are having a pretty poor season as well. As you could say the same thing about a lot of La Liga teams, to be completely honest. The game itself, Anderlecht-Villarreal in Spain, was an even contest. Honestly, I did not see either team just taking it to the other to want the result. Villarreal had more of the possession. They had more of the ball, knocking it around, but they looked toothless up front. And I really do mean that. Sure, they had 60, 70% of possession, but I don't even know if they had a realistic good shot on goal. When it comes to that front three of most Spanish teams, there is zero ruthlessness. And I cannot stress that enough. I'm slowly becoming more anti-La Liga as I go through this new modern era of football, just because from what I'm seeing from other leagues, there are just better formations of offense out there. Just better tactics, way more direct. The Spaniards are a little timid. I'm just going to be completely honest, because that is exactly what I saw in this Villarreal game. If they really wanted it, Villarreal should have won this game. They had everything to do so other than the finish. But, I mean, come on. The reason why you're out on the pitch is to score a fucking goal, and they didn't want it. Villarreal ultimately didn't want it. They lose to an 8th place side in the Belgian league, and Anderlecht at the end of the day deserved it.
Yeah.
They stayed in the game. They didn't let Villarreal bully them too much, and they took care of their chances in the rare moments that they got them. And at the end of the day, that's what matters most. So congratulations to Anderlecht. I just think it's going to be tough for them to go any further in this tournament because they themselves didn't play that well, but they were solid against a poor Villarreal side. And on the other side, bro, I have the exact opposite sentiment to say, because AZ Alkmaar are playing some of the finest football in Europe right now, man.
In Europe?
With context. So what I mean by that is AZ Alkmaar are an upper table team in the Eredivisie. Yes. So in that regard, in that level, they're playing some of the best football. So basically, Conference League, Europa League football.
Okay.
They're not going to be in that Champions League tier. You know, they're not going to be top tier European football. But in the level that they're at right now, they're playing really top-notch football, man. I was fortunate enough to catch the game in the Netherlands against the mighty Lazio, a team who has had an interesting season. Maurizio Sarri trying to, employ Sarri ball at the Italian Giants of Rome club here with Lazio. And they've had some high highs, but also some low lows. Yeah. That's the thing. I've seen Lazio play some incredible football this year. Like truly, truly incredible, where there's just 1-2 touch football, breaking lines and being really, really dynamic. Whether Sakani on the left, Milinkovic-Savic in the midfield kind of feeding those type of players, or also who is having a really good season too, Felipe Anderson, who seems to only play well if he's in a Lazio jersey, apparently, bro. Because Jesus Christ, what a weird career he's had outside of Italy. They've flown high at certain points of the season, but they've definitely had some just interesting points of frustration, I would definitely say. But the night against AZ Alkmaar, dude, the game was so good. Just to summarize it very, very quickly, Alkmaar plays such a silky style of football. They really do. The emphasis is on advancing the ball as quickly as you can, but also at the same time as smartly as you can. So they're not going to just send over a long ball and get it to their front three as quickly as they can. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they're going to try and find the angles to get it to their front three as quick as possible. And that just leads to really entertaining offensive football, man. When you're playing triangles, when you're getting it into the midfield, but then quickly spitting it outside to the wide wingers, and then you have two midfielders crashing the boards, also the striker in the box. It's so entertaining, man. They're so skilled. They're very technical players. They're just a really fun team to watch play soccer, bro. I really do mean that. Some standouts, I say, Kirkesh, the left back. He's like a robot. But what I mean by that is he's just so technical. It's like he's programmed to do certain things in certain moments, and he just executes them perfectly. He's a little stiff, but he's just so good. It's so interesting to see play. And then up top, you have the guy, the Swedish player, Carlson, who had one of the craziest bangers I have seen in a while. I encourage everyone listening to this podcast to go watch Carlson's first goal in the second leg against Lazio for AZ Alkmaar. Okay. An absolute screamer, bro. The bend that he gets on this ball, I haven't seen a bend like that, again, like I said, in a long time. And at that point, they were actually down 1-0. So it was everything. The stadium was electric. The atmosphere low-key felt like a British team on a Champions League night. It was so captivating, bro. And then from that point on, they ended up getting a second goal to flip the result 2-1. What's crazy about that is they did the same thing in Italy. They conceded the first goal, but then they scored two unanswered goals to get the dub. They beat Lazio twice, once in Italy and obviously once in the Netherlands. And dude, they're such a fun team to watch, playing really good football, and I'm really excited to see where they can go and what they can do in this fucking Conference League, bro. Because right now, they're the most fun team to watch in the Conference League.
Would you go as far as saying that they're your pick to win it?
I'm going to say yes. Right now,
Okay.
Right now, I say the top 2 teams are Fiorentina and AZ Alkmaar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not going to throw in West Ham in there.
That's the only problem is that I have not seen West Ham play in the
Anti-English
Conference
agenda.
League. Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
AZ over Anderlecht in this match.
100% in this one, I'm sure of.
Okay.
Alkmaar destroying Anderlecht.
I'll take your word for it. I won't question it. I don't know if I can follow you all the way through, brother.
Right.
I don't know because I think the way the bracket is set up is they are set to face off against either West Ham or Gent in the semifinal.
Yeah.
And that could complicate things a lot.
Yeah, I wonder how well West Ham are going to play because if they destroy Gent, then I think West Ham can consider themselves favorites. But if it's a tight result and Alkmaar just do what they did against Lazio to Anderlecht, then I think it's going to be a way more even game than most people would probably give it credit for.
Okay.
The West Ham Alkmaar lineup.
Okay, so ultimately, you have a Fiorentina-Nice semifinal, as do I. And then I have a West Ham AZ semifinal. Do you have Gent in the semifinal?
I'm going to go say West Ham. And then
Okay.
after that, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. AZ to the final. And okay, so the
And
other
then either
side.
Nice or Fiorentina.
Okay, yeah, then let's go Fiorentina.
You going Fiorentina?
I think Fiorentina are playing better football than Nice. I really do. So a Fiorentina AZ Alkmaar would actually be incredibly entertaining.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be awesome,
awesome.
to watch.
I do think Fiorentina has the easiest path to the
For sure.
because they're facing off against a Polish side right now, I believe, right? Either Basel or Nice, which I don't think play amazing football.
Yeah.
Whereas the other side of the bracket is insane, in my opinion. You got Anderlecht, who's playing really good in Europe, AZ, who you said is super fun, Gent, who's another really strong Belgian team, and then West Ham, who's the Premier League side in this tournament. I got West Ham defeating AZ in the semifinal. I got an English team finally doing something with this tournament and making a name for themselves, representing the most powerful league in the world. I have Fiorentina against West Ham in the final, and I have Fiorentina winning it, bro.
Yeah.
I have Fiorentina winning it. I actually think they have some sort of juju going for them right now in Europe specifically.
They look good,
Not
yeah.
playing too well in Italy, but in Europe, their highs are very high and they're able to achieve some amazing plays amongst themselves. Fuck it, man. Let's go Italian here. I'm going to go with an Italian resurgence in Europe, and it starts with Italian side Fiorentina winning the Conference League. Back-to-back years where an Italian side wins this tournament, with Roma winning it last year.
Yeah, exactly. That actually would be dope.
Yeah.
If that were to happen. If West Ham makes it to the final, I'm going to say West Ham win it. I think
Okay.
if they get there, they will just be on some sort of momentum, some sort of wave that will be really hard to knock down. Even though Fiorentina are playing good football, if West Ham get there, that's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's AZ, I actually could see it going either way.
Yeah.
I could see it going either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. This is gonna be a fun tournament, man. We'll check back when the final is getting closer. For sure.
I can't wait for these
For sure.
quarterfinal games, man.
Yep.
It's going to be so fun.